Hello and welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening from all over the world. Wherever you are calling in from, logging in from, you are welcome to a special edition of the Lounge Live. Yes, I couldn't resist having a special guest on when she agreed and accepted my invitation to come on the Lounge Live. Yes, it is 3 days to Christmas. Yay! So this is the run up to Christmas now. And we're getting in the Christmas mood, hence the Christmas outfit. And it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you somebody who is close to my heart. She's a lady who, when I met her, I knew that my life had changed for the better. She's very inspirational. She's very, absolutely a guru in her field. And I learned from her, and she's formidable. She's a woman of golden substance. And I say golden because whatever she touches turns to gold. I am just so pleased to have her in my midst, to have known her. And for those of you who do not know who I am, well, I'm Dee Lana. I'm the award-winning author of the book, Get Stuff Done. Productivity hacks so that you can do what you love doing. And what do we mean by that? Well, obviously, there are certain things in our lives that we love to do and that we don't have time. We don't.
The Bluetooth device is ready to pair.
We don't have time. We don't give ourselves the time. We don't really actually just sit down and take stock of what we are doing and what we can do. So we end up procrastinating and not getting the things that we really love done. So it gives me great pleasure because this lady, she's a lady who certainly knows how to get stuff done, and she does it well. She does it really well. There are times when you might feel, what I'm doing in life, is it getting me anywhere? Is it actually getting me to the point where I really want to be? All the things I'm doing, I'm running around, feel like a dog, when the dog's chasing the tail and going round and round and round on the spot. So that means that you're not moving forward. Yeah? You're just gathering information, gathering things. But hey, you find that you do not have any progress in what you're doing. You've not made any progress because you're still going round and round in circles. Well, it's time that we put that to rest. It's time that we got stuff done. It's time that we actually did the things that we said we'd do so that we start to make some progress. In doing that, you will find that if you gather information with one hand and then you take action with the other, you find yourself moving forward. And hey, that's how you make progress. But if you keep holding on to the information, you gather it, you get it, you have it, but you're not doing anything with it, then you find that you're going round in circles and you're not actually making any progress. Hey, Catherine, it's great to see you. Thank you so much for joining. Happy Christmas week that we're in, as we're in the run up to Christmas. I take it you're all at home now, getting ready for Christmas Day, and we'll be spending it with our families. I'm waving back at you. I see you. Thank you for joining. It's really lovely for you to join today. Absolutely. So, love and kisses to you too. So today's lovely show is about being more productive. Yes, you are. Oh, wonderful. So that's great. I'm glad to hear that you're at home. And I have the lovely, lovely Lily has joined, and she's going to, right, go. I'm going. The lovely, wonderful lady that I've been talking about, the beautiful Lily. Hi, Lily. Hey, it is good.
Hi, how are you?
I am awesome. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great.
Oh, you look
Thank
great.
you so much for inviting me on your amazing show.
Well, thank you so much for accepting my invitation. I've told my guests that I am super, super excited to have you on this show finally, because you are a woman who I admire. You're a formidable woman of golden substance. And I say golden because everything you touch turns to gold. And I just love the way you get stuff done. I just love that you, hi, hello, someone else has joined. Oh, let's wave, wave, wave. Hello, Lil Patrascu has joined. Thank you so much to see you. Thank you so much. So I've introduced myself. I'm Dee Lana, award-winning author of the book Get Stuff Done, Productivity Hacks, so you can do the things that you love. And we'll give you links to all that later. But with me today in my midst is a woman who has changed my life intensely, and she can do the same for you too. She's a woman who knows how to put that golden touch to just every content that you want. And today we're going to talk about productivity and how we can take that productivity and use it to publish our own books, if that is our desire to do. But I'm not going to steal Lily's thunder, but let me just introduce her briefly so you can get a hint of how wonderful this woman is. Lily can help you monetize your knowledge and influence through personal branding. She's the co-founder of Speakers Are Leaders, Entrepreneurs Are Leaders, Brand for Speakers, and Millionaire Speakers Network. Programs listed alongside the world's best courses that aim to inspire entrepreneurs to overcome their fear of speaking and attract more business to them. She is now mentoring so many people, mentoring property investors, developers, influencers, gold medalists, and the list goes on. She is particularly proud to have empowered women from different walks of life, some of them with low resources. The list goes on of Lily's accolades. And I am not going to take away from you, because I want you to be able to hear from Lily herself everything that she's done. So it gives me great pleasure and a Lounge Live welcome to say welcome, Lily Patrascu.
Thank you so much, Dilana. And so my name is Lily Patrascu, and I'm the founder of Brand for Speakers, Speakers Are Leaders, Entrepreneurs Are Leaders, Top Coach International, programs designed to enhance your personal brand so you can attract more business. Now, if you're watching this, please comment below what are your big goals for this year so that Dee can find out and share exactly how you can get it done.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you, Lily. I wanted you to be able to tell us your background and what it is that has brought you on your personal journey to where you are today.
That's a very good question. Can I say that you look absolutely spectacular? So I came to London with 100 euros and 2 suitcases full of hopes and dreams. And I was looking for a better life. Some of you who are watching, perhaps you're also looking for a better life. If you are, simply comment below, I want something better. And as I arrived in London, I started having lots of fun and working as an au pair for a family with 2 children. And I was having a lot of fun. And that's the main reason for that was because that is my personality, having fun regardless of what I do. And that was one of my winning things, that I started having a lot of fun. And because of that, years later, I traveled around the world. I was meeting a lot of exciting people and everything, until one moment when I had a midlife crisis. And this midlife crisis was at 29 years old. And I realized, what have I done with my life? And the answer was nothing. And this is how it felt, that I had done nothing. So if you're feeling like that as well, if you're sometimes feeling like, if you're not fired up, you're not ready to go, you are, you have no zest for life, it could be because of that, feeling like you have a midlife crisis. You're like, what am I doing really with my life? And it was only when I published my first book, which was called Meet the Nanny, that I finally felt like I became an attractor for opportunities. And that is when I met my first, well, my only, my partner, okay? My partner, his name is Harry Sardinas, and he gave me the opportunity to manage his companies, his property business, his English school. And because of that, I helped more than 2,000 people to find accommodation, to learn enough English so they can get their first job and to get their first job.
Awesome.
And it was only after that that I realized, I love helping these people. I absolutely love it. But I feel like I'm working too hard, because I was working from 8 o'clock in the morning until midnight answering people's messages. People's stuff was breaking, or, like, imagine you have a lot of tenants, hundreds of tenants, and then you have to like answer to everyone, and people get locked out, people have their, I don't know, radiator broken or whatever. So then every single day was the same story, answering hundreds of messages, and it kind of became a bit too boring. And that's when I realized that I want to do something different. And so I helped Harry to publish, to write a book that he published with another publisher. And then after a while, I decided I want to become an international speaker. And at the time, it was a laughable goal. In fact, Harry said, ha, 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 how are you going to do that? Because you were terrified of speaking. And that's when I decided that I'm going to do it, even though other people laugh at me. So he created Speakers Are Leaders, an international public speaking course, in order to train me and many other leaders to overcome that big fear of speaking. And my fear was so terrible that I didn't even have the courage to lift my hand in a seminar of 200 people, 20 people, whatever it was.
Wow.
I was terrified of speaking. And that's because when I was growing up, my grandmother used to always say that I'm stupid, that I'm fat, that I'm this, that I'm that. And maybe a lot of the people in your family are trying to help you as well, are loving you, and they think that they are helping you by telling you, oh, you're not good, you're not this, you're not that. And a lot of times they don't help you. And this is what happened to me. It instilled, that those words instilled a big fear of public speaking for me. And it was only when Harry created this public speaking course called Speakers Are Leaders that I became much more confident. And then I realized, I'm very good at turning ordinary products into extraordinary products, at writing books that transform the world. So I helped them to write the book Speakers Are Leaders, and also Peak Performance Sales, which was a book that I wrote based on the experience I had by improving the turnover for his business. And since then, I thought, if I can do this for me, I can also do it for other people, because I noticed the impact that it had. So, for example, Harry was booked to speak at the, he was invited to speak about his book at the National Achievers Congress for a couple of minutes, where the headline speakers were Tony Robbins and many other influencers, where there were about 2,000 people. And it was from then on that Harry started getting recognized on stage everywhere around the world. So the point of the story is that when you get published, when you finally start overcoming that fear of whatever that is holding you back in your life, whether you're procrastinating something, you're not getting stuff done, and then when you finally overcome that fear, what happens is that you can discover magnificent things. And for me, publishing a book was a big eye-opener, let's say. It was a big eye-opener because it enabled me to be booked to speak worldwide. Harry was booked to speak worldwide. Many of the people we started helping were booked to speak worldwide as well. And we're making a difference, and this is the most important thing. And the thing is that being afraid of whatever it is that you want to do and not getting it done prevents you from achieving your full potential. This is the main story. And I think that this is why, Dilana, you are doing this, right? You're empowering people to achieve their full potential by helping them to get stuff done.
Yes, absolutely, Lily. Thank you so much, because I love what you touched on about people not actually doing what they want to do and procrastinating because of the fear of failure. But I believe that my fear would have been the fear of not even trying at all and not getting stuff done. So thank you so much for that. Before we go back into the deep stuff, we're just going to have 2 quick seasonal questions just to have a bit of fun. Just to ask you, what is your favorite time of the year?
Oh, I have to say it's Christmas, because it's my birthday around then as well. And, I really, really like Christmas because, I don't know, I feel really, can I even say Christmassy? I feel very happy and jolly, and it feels like everything is rosy again. But I feel that every day, so.
You certainly do, Lily. That's like for your firecracker, absolutely. And can I ask you, what's your favorite color, Lily?
Well, it is red, and I hope a lot of you like, I hope that a lot of you wear your favorite color that makes you look good as well, because that's an important thing. Wearing something that makes you look good and also makes you memorable as well. So you'll notice that, for example, Dilana is wearing, the white and red and a little bit of black, and those are her branding colors. And you'll notice that she has exactly the same colors for her book and for everything, for her banner and everything. And it's very important to be consistent about your brand and your brand colors.
Thank you so much. We will get back to branding. But for now, could you take us on a publishing journey? What would it take if we were interested in publishing a book today?
That's a very good question. The first thing is that a lot of people want to write a book. In fact, a lot of people have a New Year's resolution to write a book. And that's a very good resolution. Yes. But it's important to write the right book. And what is the right book? It's a book that enhances your personal brand, makes you more well-known. And it's a book that when people see it, they know it's you. So that's why a lot of times I recommend that you put your face on the cover. That's why you'll notice Dilana has her face on the cover, because when people see that book, they know, if, for example, if she was to walk around on the metro with it, people would know it's her, right? So that's one important thing. So the first thing is choose the right book. So write the right book. A lot of people write about their experience, and that's a perfectly good thing to write about. But it's important that you turn that experience into a system that other people can use. Because if it's just your experience, then a lot of people cannot relate to that. So, for example, I wrote my first book. It was called Meet the Nanny. And the problem was that people were starting to ask me, so how can this book help me? And the truth is, I hadn't thought of that. That was my first book. So that was the time when I wrote my first book, and I wrote it without guidance and coaching. And that's something I did really, really badly, because only 20 people purchased my book. And the important thing is not only that only 20 people purchased my book, but that book still gave me a huge opportunity, which was to get a job in an office. Because previously I was trying to get jobs in an office and everyone would say no. And that's because they were justified. I was incompetent. I had no idea how to do most things. And still Harry gave me an opportunity when he found out I was an author, because he realized I was going to be coachable. So he invested more than £250,000 in my education so that I would be able to learn about branding, marketing, and sales, and a lot of stuff. And because of that, I was able to achieve these results. And because of that, I'm able to help other people as well. So the point of the story is that you need to write the right book. The book should be about achieving your primary purpose, which is, for example, if you want to help people get stuff done, then you call it that. And it should be something that is easy to remember, the title should be fairly short so that it's easy for people to remember. And also, it's important that the title is short for so that you can buy the website for it. So for example, you can buy getstuffdone.com, right? I'm not sure if you have bought it already or not, but it's important that you don't call it like a huge title, because then it will be a bit harder for people to spell, because a lot of people can't spell. So ideally, it should be something that most people can spell.
That's right.
And it should be also a title that can be turned into the topic of your keynote speech, the title of your workshop, a coaching program. Yeah. So ideally, it should be multi-purpose, so that you work once and you leverage forever. Because otherwise, it's people get distracted with so many programs and so on, and they forget. Right. So that's one thing. Yeah.
That's right. Thank you so much, Lily. Could you tell us, why do you think productivity is so important?
So I'll tell you, I'm a productivity geek, if I can say that.
Love it.
So for example, I have all my clothes labeled. So they are labeled in the sense that, I have these separators in my wardrobe. Oh, wow. And I have them placed by color. And then, my socks have containers for every single sock,
Oh, word.
And
nice.
and then
down to my house.
And then, like, literally all my underwear and everything is basically nicely folded and placed in its own container,
Super.
So
I love it.
It's very important to be organized. Look, it's very important to be organized, because then you're productive, right? If you're organized, you're productive.
Absolutely.
And if you're organized, then you can get your book published quickly. If you're organized, you can get everything that you need to do. You get it done.
Yes.
The only thing I would say, and maybe that's a question for you, is how do you deal with procrastination? Okay? So procrastination is a big topic. And procrastination is the big thing that stops a lot of people from achieving their goals. Absolutely. And for me, procrastination was, I would say, one of the biggest things that has prevented me over the years from doing stuff. And that was because of the fear, right? So yes. A lot of people are not productive because they're fearful of something. They're fearful of being judged. So for example, why do people know that they could be doing interviews and they don't do it? Why do people know that they could be publishing their book, but they don't do it? They procrastinate. They're fearful. Why are they fearful? They're fearful that my book won't be good enough. I'm not an expert. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't have time. I don't have money. I don't have a lot of things, right? Yes. So the thing is that the people who actually get those things done are productive, are achievers, are high achievers, are successful. And this is how they're perceived by a lot of people. And that also helps. Everybody can write a book, but the fact is, most people won't. First, because life gets in the way, because you're too busy, you're too tired, your kids moan too much. And then every time you want to write a book, you're thinking, oh, but maybe it's not good enough. What will people think? How will I be judged? So until you deal with the real problems here, you are never going to write a book. You're never going to publish it. Yes. Because you have those underlying issues. Absolutely. So the whole idea is to look at what's preventing you from being productive by looking at the cause, right? Yes. So the cause could be, okay, I'm not an expert. Why do you believe that? Well, because there are so many people that are better than me. Maybe you might think that. And yes, that is true. There are so many people who know a lot more than you. But do you know certain things that a lot of people don't know? Then if that's the case, then you can share that knowledge, Absolutely. Right? So as long as you are able to teach other people something from your own experience, then you are an expert in that topic. Absolutely. And there's nobody stopping you from learning more. I think that, for example, you're a productivity coach and you published a productivity book, but there's nothing stopping you from continuously improving and learning and learning and learning and leveraging the techniques that are working the most to help other people.
Every day is a learning day. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So this is who I am. I am an avid learner, and I really get a kick out of learning more. Out of learning more, and I also think that publishing your own book, getting it done, is about making a strong decision.
Yes.
And the question is, how many times do you take those strong decisions, the kind of decisions where you burn your own boats and there is no turning back? I'll give you an example. When I came to London, I had those kind of decisions where there was no, if this doesn't work out, I'm going to return. No. For me, there was, I'm going to make it. Everything's going to be all right.
That's right.
And I only had 100 euros in my pocket. And the fact is that at the time, I was immature enough as to not consider the impact of what was going to go possibly go wrong, right? I didn't think of it. I just thought everything's going to go right, and it did go right. But the fact is that the first family I landed, to work for, they weren't feeding me much. So I decided 3 weeks in to move out. And you could say, oh, that's a big problem, right? For someone who only has $100. And it was the big problem. But what I did is that I started babysitting for other people. And one person put an advert for me at Microsoft and said, there's this excellent au pair who's been babysitting for us, and she's available right now for another job. Can anyone help? Within a minute, someone else offered me a job. I was interviewed that same week.
Awesome.
And I was offered another job. So the point of that story is that sometimes you just have to make that decision that you're going to make it no matter what. So for example, right now, a lot of people are facing tough challenges. Like, for example, maybe you can't go to work. Because you can't go to work, you don't have a wage. And because you don't have a wage, then you're stuck at home watching Netflix. But there is a better position that you can be in. There is a better decision that you can have, which is, I am going to make it. I am going to monetize my knowledge.
Yes.
And how you can do it, there's so many ways that you can do it. One way you can do is you can start publishing your book and turning it into an online course. Because when you have a blueprint for something that you do regularly, for example, let's say you're a mother and you know how to, change diapers, you know how to discipline children in the sense of telling them, nicely how to do certain things, and they do it. Yes. This is a good skill that a lot of people don't have. I'll tell you, I used to look after kids for 8 years, and it was very difficult. So if you could share that kind of information about how other people can do this, that can totally help so many people. And you are the expert compared to someone like me who years ago had no idea how to get children to behave, right?
Right.
So maybe I knew, but I didn't know as well as you did. So that makes you an expert. That makes you an expert on parenting. If you are able to achieve great results with your children, if your children are successful, for example, in math and whatever all other topics they study, then again, you can teach people how you have managed to get them to be such avid learners, because this is what parents want. They want their children to have the best results at school, to be successful, to get awards and all these kind of things. Now, let's say that you are great at throwing, basketballs. You know how to do that. There was actually one guy, I think his name was Jacob Hiller or something, and he made $2.5 million selling an ebook about how to throw your ball higher. Wow. So if you're still thinking you're not an expert, I want you to think again. And I actually have another friend who did a course. I think it was $14 or something. It's on Udemy, and it's a course on Indian cooking. Now, how many Indian people there are in the world? I don't know. Many. Right? Many. Yes. How many people know how to cook? Many. Yes. But how many people did a course on cooking, on Indian cooking specifically, and they sold 140,000 of those courses? Not as many. Why? Because people didn't do the courses.
That's right.
So the point of the story is that you do have knowledge and expertise and skills and passions and stuff that you know a lot about.
Yes.
And you can get those things compressed into a book, into an online course. You can. But are you going to do it?
That's the question.
That's the question. Are you going to do it? So the key is, first, decide. Have a strong decision. I'm doing this.
Yes.
And when are you going to do it by? Decide when are you going to do it by.
Yes.
Then start working on it. Like, start asking yourself, okay, let's say if you didn't have the money, then ask yourself, how can I get the money? I'll give you an example. One time, I didn't have money for buying a house. But I woke up one day thinking, I'm going to buy a property. And at the time, my boyfriend said, you don't have money. Sure, you have a good wage and everything, but you don't have money. You don't have a deposit. How are you going to do it? So I said, within 1 or 2 months, I'm going to buy a property. And I just knew it, right? I just had this amazing celebration of the fact that I was going to be a property owner. I just knew it was going to happen for me. I was already celebrating it. I was already rejoicing it. You know, I was like so excited. And despite that, I had no money in my account. So what I did was I started asking my brother, can you lend me some money, you know, and I'll give it to you back. And he said, no. I asked my mother, do you have some money you can lend me? And she said, no. And then I figured, there is someone who I know, actually. There is one lady who I know. She's a property investor. And I know she usually gives, you know, money with interest. And she would like, perhaps, to give it to me. You know, so what I did is I messaged her on Facebook. I didn't even call her. And I said, you know, I need 25,000 really. But if you can give me 2,000, 1,000 or 500 or whatever it is that you have, I will accept. And I'm willing to give you interest. You know what she said?
What did she say?
She said, I'll give you 30,000
Wow.
with interest. And the reason for that was because she knows that when you buy anything, you need more money than you actually are asking, right? And it was true. I needed 5,000 extra pounds more than I thought I needed.
Yes.
So the point of the story is that sometimes you think you don't have the money, but then you decide you are going to have the money, and then the money appears. Now, another thing, which is like a bit more spooky, is think about it. If your son, you know, if someone kidnapped your son and said, you know, give me 100,000 pounds by tomorrow, otherwise I'm going to have him killed. If someone said that, you would come up with the money, right? So the point of the story is that sometimes you just have to have a strong why for what you're going to do.
Absolutely.
And that will compel you to do stuff. So if you're not doing it, it's because it's not important enough. Yeah. So how can you make it important enough? Just to realize what's going to happen once you do get that, right? So
absolutely.
For me, I never expected that writing a book was going to get me to get me booked to speak internationally. Never thought that. Yes. In fact, I wasn't looking for that at the time. I just thought, I'll just write a book. Yeah. I was writing it for me, right? Yeah. So you might sometimes even write a book and then realize what the outcome is much later. But it's important that you take that decision where you burn your bridges. You come up with, okay, what's stopping me right now from achieving it? What's stopping me from getting it done? Yes. And a lot of times it's these issues that are underlying, like I don't have money. We covered that. I don't have time. Now, let's cover the I don't have time part, right? Okay, yeah. So when I wrote my first book and published it, I published it within 90 days. And it took me actually only 30 days to write it. It took me another 30 days to research people who can do covers. Yes. And another 30 days to research people who do editing and proofreading and so on, what else I needed to do. Fantastic. So what I did was that I was working 60 hours roughly per week. That's a lot. And despite that, I was able to write and publish my book. And how I did it was through using transition time. So using transition time is a perfect technique for you to use. So let's say you're waiting for the bus, or you're waiting for the train, or you're any sort of transition time is perfect for you to use. So for me, I was writing about 1,000 words a day just by being on the bus, waiting for the bus, waiting in the train station or whatever. Let's say I was waiting for the kids to turn up at school, for 10 minutes. Then I was writing. If I came up with an idea whilst I was in the shower, I would come out of the shower and I would write it. So this is how I did it. So it's not that you don't have time, it's that you don't have a strategy to have time. Yeah. And if you were to do it yourself, this is a good strategy to use transition time. But a better strategy is to have a template. So now that's why I have a template now, and you can easily just write into the template. And this is why it's a good idea to have a coach, because with a coach, you just kind of follow the steps, and it's much easier. So now I have a template where you can, which actually talks about, okay, this is what you need to put here and here and here and here. So it breaks it down a bit easier, you know, makes it much easier to get it done. And what else is there? I'm not an expert, you know, that's a big thing. I'm not an expert.
Yeah.
So that's actually, you can say that's one thing that has always been my thing. Like, I'm not an expert. But I realized with time that, you know, there are some people who do stuff, and then you think, oh, but you can do it this way faster or better or this way.
Yeah.
And then you realize, you know, I'm not an expert, but I know about this, which makes me an expert. You know,
Exactly.
That's the idea, to just share your knowledge, your gifts, your expertise, and that is how you are helping a lot of people. Even I remember when I was at school, and I never thought I was gonna. I thought, what if I don't get in to college, right?
Yeah.
When I was like 14, and I came first. You know, I had the first four. I was like, I was looking at the list from the bottom, you know, and I was like, what? I'm number one? You know, like, it's just so common for a lot of people to underestimate themselves, and that was me for a lot of time.
Right.
And if you're still thinking, I'm not an expert, I want you to believe that you know stuff that other people can use. And if you don't share it, it's selfish of you to not share it.
Absolutely.
Because you're going to die with it, you know, and it's selfish. I'll tell you why it's selfish. Because, look, I was about to organize an event with one person from Ireland. And he was a spectacular guy, really spectacular.
Yeah. Like
50-something years, such amazing experience and knowledge and skills and talents.
Yes.
He wanted to do a book, and he was about to organize an event with us in April in Ireland. He was a fascinating guy, humorous and everything, but he died.
Oh.
Now, I want you to think about that, because, you know, these things happen without warning.
Absolutely.
So sometimes, you know, you could think that, you know, maybe I'll write a book someday, but maybe this someday thing never comes. And your knowledge that you've, you know, spent thousands and hundreds of thousands of pounds to acquire, now it can't go to your nieces and nephews and people that you know. It just goes with you, forever gone.
That's right.
And that's a big loss.
Very sad.
Right?
Yes.
It's a big loss for you. It's a big loss because you don't have a legacy that you've left for your children, your family, and so on.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think COVID has shown us that time is precious.
Yeah.
Very precious.
So it's important to write and publish your book before you are dead.
Absolutely.
It's a serious thing.
Absolutely. I love how you've touched on so many of the topics about procrastination. And within my workshop, the Get Stuff Done Productivity Blueprint workshop and the course that I'm writing, I've touched on the causes of procrastination under barriers to our progress. Why are we not progressing? Why are we not writing that book? Why are we not taking that decision to improve our life? Why are we holding on to that talent or skill that we have and we could share with people and we could bless people with? And I love how you touched about people that are talented at their skills and talented at things that they do, but they won't share it. Look, I know you talked about being a nanny, so you must have come across like grandmothers. Some call them abuelas in Greece. And you remember when the new parents have their baby and they think they know what they're doing right, and along comes grandmother, and she always knows how to do it a lot better than them and gives them advice whether it's warranted or not. And this is talent and knowledge. Would you agree that could be put in a book and shared?
Absolutely. I think a lot of grandmas and grandpas have a lot of knowledge to share. And, you know, it doesn't matter whether you hate writing or you can't spell or your accent is terrible. That doesn't matter, because with the technology that I have, all of that goes away, because the writing can get done for you. You know, like a writer can write that up for you, your own ideas and your own in your own voice, so that you create a legacy and you don't die with the message with it.
And I love what you said about you said you were going to buy a house. You didn't even have the money to buy it, but you knew you were going to buy this house. And I love that you had that vision and you believed in yourself and you went for it. And I love the word you used about celebrating. We need to celebrate those things that we haven't even got yet, but we have a vision for. And you need to see yourself, project yourself into your vision and celebrate what you've got. I love the way you said that, Lily. It really, really does hit home with me. And I'd like to ask you a question about all your personal branding and sales and everything that you do. Why would somebody choose to go with Lily? Why Lily?
That's a good question. So a lot of people, how do you say this? A lot of people write and publish a book, and then they have no idea what to do with it. They keep it under their mattress. Now, I speak around the world in front of more than 10,000 people, and every year, more and more people invite me to speak in more and more countries. So I've already spoken in 5 countries several times.
Awesome.
And then I've been invited to speak in 10 other countries.
Wow.
And just next year, I'm invited to speak in the Philippines, Dubai, and where is it? In somewhere else, but I forget. The following year in Bhutan or in India as well, and despite the coronavirus issue and everything. So I've been invited to speak in Costa Rica, Uruguay, Paraguay, all these countries where I haven't even been yet. Colombia. People are just waiting for me to say when I want. Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of people are just waiting for me to say, okay, when can I come, and this kind of thing, right? So the important thing to remember is that when you work with me, then I get you, basically, I get the word out about your book worldwide. So wherever I speak, I put the book, your book cover on the PowerPoint for people to see worldwide. I put you in my brochures. I speak about you everywhere in my YouTube channels and everything. So that way you get a lot of promotion. And also, when you create a message that is a strong, clear, short message, then you have a good product for you to start talking about. Until then, it's almost like coming out and wearing a pajama, right? And saying, hey, I have something to offer, you know? So until you're branded properly, then it's almost like you're wearing a pajama, right? And your face is smudged up with crayon. You know, a lot of people go out in public and they talk about their business, and their business is not clear because of that. Their message is very incoherent. People just don't connect with it. Absolutely. And when you have a clear message, then you can start marketing it. And this is the part that I'm very good at. Just creating that message that you can, you know, clarify, so you can speak coherently about your business. And from then on, you can grow. You know, that's an important thing. So that's the most important thing, being booked to speak worldwide about your business, and then getting opportunities. Like, for example, having celebrities at your event, or speaking at the same event as celebrities. Like, you have spoken at the same event as the billionaire founder of Simit-Sarai brand.
Correct.
And multimillionaire Happy Center supermarket, and many other places, you know. So this is what's possible for people like you who are watching, who would love to become more well-known and book to speak worldwide.
Awesome, Lily. I love that. I love that so much. So where can we find you, Lily? Where can we find you? What are the links? Where can we find you?
So if you would like to start monetizing your message, and if you would like to get a book published, then contact me at hello@lily.global. Lily is written Lily. Now, I also have brandforspeakersuniversity.com. If you have an online course that you would like to create and to sell, and if you do want that, then all you have to do is go to brandforspeakersuniversity.com, register there, and start placing your course there, so you can start monetizing your knowledge. And make sure to mention that you have seen me at the D-Lana show.
Awesome. So all these links will be put in the comments below. Don't worry, we will put them. Thank you so much, Lily. So, one quick question. What's your favorite quote?
Gosh, let me think. Do I have a favorite? Oh yeah, you don't get what you want, you get what you are. And that's a Les Brown quote. And the reason I like it is because it reminds me that I'm not going to get what I want. I'm going to get what I work towards being. So if I'm an extraordinary person, then and I work towards improving personally,
yes,
then I'm going to get what I want.
Absolutely.
If I'm a lazy person who procrastinates, doesn't get stuff done, then I deserve what I get.
Awesome.
It's me. It's all down to me.
Awesome. I love that. Indeed, I love that so much. So can you leave us with one anecdote or takeaway from today? What would it be?
Get your book out because it's your time now. It's time to stop being average and to embrace extraordinary.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So Lily, I would love to say right now, thank you so much for taking time out to speak to us today. We've really enjoyed having you here on the Lounge Live. Yes, 3 days to Christmas. It's awesome to get those nuggets, those golden nuggets from you. And we're looking forward to what you have to offer us in the future. And yes, everyone, take heed. It's good to be productive and get those talents out while we're still alive and breathing. Thank you, Lily, for laying it out clear for us today. And I'd just like to leave you saying Merry Christmas in advance. And here's to hoping for a brighter and better future. But our future does lie in our own hands. So
thank you so much, all of you who are watching. Thank you so much, Dee, and have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to everyone. Thank you for everyone that joined. Thank you so much. Take care. Be kind to one another and have a great season, whatever you're doing. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.